Hello, everyone. Darren here, and on today's episode of WotC Academy, we're going to do Murovanka as our map walkthrough. I am joined with my assistants and guests, Yezdi, who is my stream secretary, as well as Pontiac Pat, who is my mathematician, as well as a host of a couple of math-related videos on my channel already. You guys are all familiar with these two, hopefully by now. So, Murovanka, just quick summary of this is a very symmetrical map from both the north and south spawns. So, what you may do for one flank, for one spawn, will more or less probably translate the exact same way for the opposite spawn. It's one of the more symmetrical maps in the game, so it's very easy to explain. Other than that, that's pretty much about it. We're going to follow the normal format that I've been doing with this revamped series, and we'll be starting with whatever spawn that I start on first, and then we'll switch after about, the first half has been covered, and then move on to the opposite spawn. So, let's get started. Alright, so just starting off with artillery here on the north side. You'll pretty much see them in the A123 area. You won't see them anywhere else for the most part, or at least I haven't. You may occasionally see something somewhere else, but almost 95% of the time you'll see them in the A123. I'm actually just going to do the middle here, just super quick, because it's almost completely irrelevant, but it has an early game use, so I'll just cover it real quick. You'll rarely see anything go on in the town. Maybe late game play when you're trying to get from one flank to the other, or you're just making a push straight through the middle because there's not a whole lot of tanks left. But beyond that, you won't see anything go middle because they'll just get farmed and destroyed relatively quickly. Middle, though, light tanks. This is pretty much what you just are seeing me do right now. This is pretty much the light tank play. Just roll up into the middle, maybe a little bit farther, spot what you can, and then disappear over this ridge or this ridge right here, and then, come back and make the same maneuver when you have gone unspotted. You can, of course, then flex around the map however you like. I've seen light tanks move over to the Brawling section. I've seen light tanks hang out over here on the Waterfront side. It's kind of just go where you feel like you can get the most assisted damage. We're going to move over here to the Brawling section. This is, to many people, this would arguably be the most important section of the map, simply as this is going to be the primary point of brawling for most heavies due to the symmetrical terrain of this portion of the map. So, you'll see that heavy tanks with gun depression or mediums with gun depression will kind of be playing around on these ridges here. Heavy tanks without gun depression will probably be, will almost always be hanging out on this building or right here on this corner. The key to this section of the map is to get in here or get as many tanks as you can into this. I'm just going to call it the trench. We're just going to call it the trench for the sake of it. I don't know if there's a specific term, but you want to get them into the trench here as quickly as possible and as many tanks as possible. The more you have in here, the greater foothold it's going to be, and the harder it is going to be for the enemy team to dig you out. That is the objective here. That is the objective for both sides of this map, really, is to get into the trench. Once there, you can push up and fight, get around, get some flanks there. Tanks, again, with gun depression will be able to play this ridge line, while the heavy tanks or tanks without gun depression really will be playing right where Pat just popped into my vision, right around here on this corner. Now, real quick, there are two things I want to make people aware of here, is that medium tanks can play over here. They definitely can, but it heavily requires gun depression. Because of these ridges and the hilly terrain that you have over here. Gun depression will help you immensely. If you don't have gun depression, you're a medium tank, you may have to play a couple games with the terrain, do some reverse slopage, or just try and stay out of other tanks' ways over here on the Brawling corner and be, take targets of opportunity. Other thing I want to mention, though, is that from the north spawn, you need to be aware of TDs that will be playing on this ridge over here. If you are distracted and you're not paying attention to what pops up over there, they will come over the hill, they will blap you in the face, and they will roll back behind cover before you can actually react in time. And where Pontiac Pat is going right there, that is the ridge. Yeah. This is where you want to be careful because a lot of big gun TDs will hide there. Jaegeroos, sniping things. Also watch this building over here. I've seen SU-152s, 268, 263s, right where Yezdi is. That's where I've seen a lot of tanks without gun depression, but big guns waiting to blap you in the face as you crest over the ridge. Or come around this corner. So yeah. Once you clear out whatever's back over there or this building, then you can push over more onto the ridge as a greater profile and then start farming whatever's brawling in this like little pocket where Pat is. And again, that's where your gun depression comes into play. If you don't have the gun depression, you're going to have to expose yourself more and push down. And, now you're just an easier shot because you don't have gun depression. But, again, if you got gun depression, you can kind of hide a little bit more up here on the ridge. And get some more, get some shots. From here, it's relatively simple. You've pretty much won this flank at this point. You can have some of the tanks push up over that hill to take out whatever may be hiding back over there. You'll obviously have everything that's over here shooting where Yezdi is, because most of the time you'll catch an artillery or an SPG trying to cross this open field to get to safety, and that doesn't really work. You will occasionally see, well, no, not occasionally. You will most of the time see tanks hanging around over on this back ridge because they were hanging back here defending the heavy tanks at 6 o'clock. So you will have to push up, take care of whatever is on this corner right over here where Pat is. Take care of whatever the medium tanks or tanks that are trying to sneak around behind you guys this route, so be careful, eliminate them, and then it's relatively smooth sailing from that point. You have a clear shot to the flag for some reason if you choose to cap. Of course, it may just be easier to push through the village, and this is again where like late game village comes into play. Just push through the village. You got plenty of hard cover, destructible cover to choose from, protects you from whatever is over there on the K8-9 area, and you can just push through the village, shoot the flanks of those tanks that are over there, and just push into whatever's still over here on the beachfront. And that's how you win that flank. Very, very simple. It just requires, and again, I'm going to emphasize here as I drive back to my spawn, it requires your team getting as many tanks and as many tanks into apparently Crescent Pass as quickly as possible. So the quicker that you can get as many tanks into Crescent Pass as possible, the better chance you have of winning that flank. Alright, so we're going to now visit the waterfront side. So, you spawned in, your light tanks have made the middle rush play. You happen to see that there's a good amount of tanks coming into the waterfront. They're going to try and flank you here. So you got back here a couple divots, some things for like some sniping TDs if they so choose to come back over here, snipe from. They're good fallback positions if things get a little too hairy. But from a sniping point, you may have trouble actually sniping things over on this side, but lower down over there by the waterfront, it may actually be easier. Gun depression also does come into play a little bit more because, again, you got another trench here you got to deal with. It is relatively symmetrical as you got that ridge there, and then you got two ridges facing each other. It's basically like a giant T. It's a T-junction road surrounded by hills. So, yeah. Gun depression does come into play, but you can, again, play around the hills if you don't have a whole lot of gun depression. The objective here is more or less the same thing as the opposite side. You want to try and get as many tanks into this trench as you can as quickly as possible and try and provide enough pressure to push these guys out. As you can see, it's relatively flat here, and that gun goes for both sides. Very, very flat, and so if you can get as many tanks in here as quickly as possible while they're still trying to get in here, you have a nice open farming avenue for you to deal with or farm from. Using a lot of the wrong words. Again, brawling points though, you'll find some brawling here. Sometimes it's not really advised, again, because you got openness here. You could have something like Stritz Vaughn hiding back there in that bush, ready to snipe you as you push out. So you do kind of want to be careful with that. Most of the time, you'll see the fighting take place down here. Up here, playing the ridge game, but also down here, simply because you got cover. You aren't exposed to that open flat top. As you can see, there's some hills here for you to play the ridgeline game. The waterfront, you're protected from being flanked on your left-hand side or right-hand side in Yazdi's case. And yeah, you can simply just fight around here. You got the solid cover. It's a very symmetrical, in terms of how you fight down over here. So yeah. You do also have a micro flank route, but success, I guess, really would depend on the situation. So you got this tiny trench thing right here that you can just push through, and this would probably be like the light tank flank route, where you just, speed through that, shoot whatever's in the side, distracted, and then you just flee. You flee. Flee. Just scream it as you drive away. Flee! And yeah. There you go, and then you repeat the process when you're unspotted. But yeah, most of the time, fighting along here. Once you win this flank, this is where it's kind of like, this is where your role kind of comes into play here. Success comes from you actually eliminating the tanks here. So, if you push along here, you're still pushing. Yazdi, Pat, could you guys go to the little hillside where you're like defending your flank? You're defending your heavy tanks. So you're pushing through. You've won this flank. Your mediums, your things. You're basically me. You are the leopards, or the centurions, or whatever you play. And then you're over here. Your job now at this point is to. I'm just going to try and do that. You guys can keep shooting so that way you remain spotted. Your job here is to now eliminate all the tanks that are over here that know that the flank has fallen to you and are now trying to defend their base and their flank from getting farmed. So, they'll sit over there. You need to eliminate them. That is your job. You need to eliminate them. Once they are eliminated, we're just going to assume that I just put 2 more rounds into Pat there. Pat's dead. Pat was the only one. Oh, nope, there's Yazdi. Apparently, now I just eliminated Yazdi. Yazdi's dead too. So I've eliminated the tanks that are protecting the heavy tanks. Now, could Yazdi and Pat pretend they're heavy tanks, distracted in their own little world? So, do that, eliminate them. Be wary that what you're doing now is, A, you're crossing in the wide open, so it's very risky. So there is a chance something may pop back up and see you, spot you, shoot you. Depending on your health, you may die. So, push through. Be wary again that artillery may be alive over here, and if you are spotted as you move, you may become a target. But you can either push through the bushes over there, where I was originally heading, or you can push through the town. Again, late game play, push through the town up to this hill, and then you will come face to butt of the heavy tanks that are in their own little world fighting your heavy tanks, and you can just farm them from the rear. It's that simple. And of course, someone will probably from your side try and cap the base anyway, which would alert these guys. So if you're going to try and sneak up and farm, it's best to not even bother trying to cap, but someone's going to do it. But yeah, that pretty much sums up how to play both flanks and the middle from the north side. And alright, so like I said, gameplay is almost extremely symmetrical here. So just real quick, artillery is going to be hiding over here in K12, J1, really, I guess. But yeah, you're gonna be pretty much seeing artillery over there in that safety pocket. Same thing, same format. I'm just doing pretty much the south spawn as a courtesy here because gameplay is more or less the same. You're never really going to see anything go through the village early on. Probably going to be a light tank. Anything else is going to end up getting killed really, really quickly. So light tank, go through the town, the village, destroy things, destruction, insurance, yada, yada, yada. And then you're going to make the same play that I showed on the north side. Push up, over the ridge, maybe a little bit faster, maybe a little bit farther over it if you were still not spotted. And then duck down into the trench, do your dodgy weavy, dodgy dodgeball play, go unspotted, repeat the process. You may occasionally see another light tank, like Pat over there. I know Pat's not a light tank, but you get the idea. He's playing the over there, you guys are going to be playing the touchy-feely, dodgy game that has lots of names game. You know what I mean. You guys are going to possibly fighting, possibly not. You know, it's going to be the Cold War over there on that ridge, and then you guys are going to either deal with each other or go off and do something else. So we're going to go back. We're going to cover the 1, 2, 3 line. Same thing. So, oh goodness me, I have spawned. I've spawned over there to save time. So same thing. Gonna push up over here. Medium tanks, anything with gun depression, are going to be on this hill. Highly have to stress, medium tanks, gun depression, that's what you want if you're going to be over here. Have the gun depression. If you don't have the gun depression, don't be on top of this hill. Or don't be fighting on the ridge. Main objective again, push through. Push into Crescent Pass as quickly as possible with as many tanks as possible. And then you can play the ridge. I did actually forget to mention here real quick that for TDs on the north side, TDs, you'll kind of see them along this ridge over here. So yeah, you'll see TDs over there. And then speaking of that, TDs, like I said previously, TDs will be camping along this ridge, or at least the snipey ones. Occasionally you'll see a Jaeger over here too, but most of the time it's heavy. So yeah, alrighty. Let's say we've got all 8 of our tanks over here into the ridge. We're now pushing Pat, the 60 TP heavy tank, E100 mouse thing. You know, we're now pushing him around the corner because we are heavy tanks. Yep, there we go. We're pushing him with all 8 of us. So yeah, there you go. Fighting along this hill. Careful though. Artillery may be over in that spot that I mentioned. Big boomsticks maybe over on that ridge, ready to blab you in the face. Tanks with gun depression, mediums, heavy tanks with that juicy gun depression, fighting the ridgeline game, shooting anything that doesn't have that gun depression that's trying to get up over here to get shots, failing miserably. And then there is kind of one difference here on this flank that you don't have that much of from the north side, and that is this nice little juicy curve in the hill. So yeah, you have this nice little curve in the hill that allows you to kind of get some good angles on the TDs over here, the heavy tanks over there, and of course anything that is there. So yeah. Yep, pretty much there's that. We're gonna go pretend we're a heavy tank again. So with a heavy tank, we have destroyed the enemy heavy tanks, and we're now pushing up over here to this little thing here, this plane explosion. We're over there. We're going to take care of Yezdi, the magical fast TD that's over there. That's like, oh no, my flank has fallen. I will flee. He's over there. He's trying to find a ditch to hide in. We're gonna, 2, 3 tanks are gonna go over there. Kill Pat, who got stuck over there. And then, of course, some light tank, medium, something, or everyone with a thirst for arty blood is going to come over here and get rid of the guy that's hiding back over here. From that point, your job is basically more or less done on this flank. Now you basically do the same thing that I mentioned here. You just push through town, and you just start trying to take care of what's ever over there. Again, make sure you stay through the town, though. You got a wide open net over here, and TDs will possibly, if they did escape, hiding over there. So stick through the town. I'm obviously not, because I'm just trying to get where I can as quickly as possible. So yep, you take care of that, and then you just kind of like push in here and just deal with the enemy that is left. Very simple, very symmetrical. This is probably going to be over in like another 3 minutes. That's how easy it is to explain a very symmetrical map. Heck, I think mines would probably be the quickest map ever. So, getting back on topic here. Oh, goodness me, I have spawned. I have decided to go this way to the waterfront. So we're going to head towards the waterfront. Want to try and keep as many bushes and trees as you can here. Obviously, it may not work, but you never know. You never know. You know, you may have a brave light tank like Yezi there pushing up as far as he can. Maybe you don't. Try and keep that foliage for what little cover you can. Dip down here. Dip down here along the waterfront, at least until you get to this hill, and then you can maneuver along here as well. Same objective. Most of the fighting is going to be over there along the village section, as well as in this road. Get as many tanks as you can into this, trench as quickly as you can, as many as you can, and secure it. And then, of course, you can fight here if you want to. The one difference here, though, and there's, again, another slight difference, is that you are moderately protected. Moderately so. Because of the sloping of this hill right here. You have some cover from anything that may be over in that direction here. But if you push out too much, as you can see, to get around, you have a much wider base of this hill here. Oh no, not only are you exposed to, like, everything in front of you, but you now have more space that you have to back up, and you're exposed longer, and they can just come around that corner and farm you again. So yeah. We'll do the quick sneak light tank flank thing that you can do the same thing from the north side that I already covered. So, you know, take the trench, because you're a sneaky light tank. Come around through here, shoot the poor heavy tank that is distracted, and then just flee, mind you, flee away into cover. Alrighty, you've won this flank. Excellent. Alrighty, same objective. Stick here along the waterfront. Be wary, you may have, again, because there's like a sniper's pocket over here, be wary that there is like a pit that you may have some tanks hiding behind, so push up on them. Here's that pit. Like I said, it's got a hill that you can hide here behind. And you also got this little bit here that you may see something. So yeah, get rid of whatever is over here, and then you actually have a good amount of like hill space to, with that gun depression, that juicy gun depression, to roll up, snipe whatever's over there. Can my teammates go play the same role they played last time with the defending mediums or whatever? So you guys are over there on that hill by the water tower thing. So hug this if you can, because you're going to go up there and try and flank. We're trying to get some butt shots on the heavy tanks here. Hug the thing here because you got this hill to hide behind. So you're over here, and then the tanks are defending. Oh goodness, I'm not going to shoot Pat again, but you know, there's a tank trying to defend his heavy tanks. Well, bam, I've now eliminated Pat. Okay, Pat was the only one defending. Now, you know, we got to go take care of the heavy tanks, Yezdi and Pat, because they're in their own little world again. You could technically push up here and then cap out base and then push right through. But if you're over there sniping to get rid of those guys, I would kind of just do like a straight line dart to the town. Don't ride the border anymore. So, take the town again. Oh goodness, look how important the town is mid-game once you've taken a flank. You know, you're over here, you push through, eliminate Artie, eliminate the TDs. You may be hiding around over here just to eliminate the TDs a little bit longer. But oh no, I've now just eliminated the TD. Yezdi's now dead. Oh, goodness. There's Pat. He's in his own little world. Bam! I have now just eliminated Pat, even though I was aiming for Yezdi. And then, you know, yeah, goodness me. I've now eliminated the heavy tank Yezdi. And the game is over because I've eliminated all the enemy tanks remaining. Boom. There it is. And that's Murovanka. Again, very symmetrical map. Quick summary on some stuff here. This is probably going to be the most important brawling area for the heavy tanks. Heavy tanks would go here 9 times out of 10. The objective here is to get as many tanks as quickly as possible into Crescent Pass in order to try and have the best chance of winning the 1-2-3 flank. Don't go town early in the game. Use it as a form of transportation through solid cover to the other flank once you've won your flank. And of course, the Waterfront area is more of a sniping, eliminate the tanks, protecting the base before trying to push in through the town again to eliminate the tanks that are brawling over here. So the primary brawl spot is over here. And then the Waterfront is basically a massive flanking route with some brawling in there. And then just the last bit of information as a reminder, if you are a medium tank, you can be over here in the brawling area, but it's more valuable if you have the gun depression to be over here. You can play it without gun depression, but you're going to have a harder time. But that's going to do it for today's video of Murovanka. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'd also like to thank my assistants here, Pontiac, Pat, and Yezdi, for being my targets and example dummies. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. And of course, until next time, this has been Darren of Watch the Academy.